Yo, what's good? It's your boy Peak, back in this bit with a new video. What if Takemitchy had a leveling system? Now, it's quite early in the morning, so I'm whispering, but I haven't been able to upload for personal reasons. There's been a lot going on, but I hope you'll enjoy this video. And actually, I'm not planning to continue Spider Deku. If you guys want it, I'll do it, of course. But so I hope you enjoy this. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Safe.
Shut up, I'm on the phone with Rodney.
So, I think if you've read the Tokyo Revengers manga, it's ended, and it was a bit rushed, but it's still very good manga. So let's hop straight into this. We start off with Takemitchy, a normal loser. He went to his job. He did nothing really. He was just an ordinary guy. He lived a bummy life. And right now, he was in his apartment eating crisps and scratching his bum while watching TV. Suddenly, breaking news pops on and interrupts the film he's watching. Good morning and welcome. This is News Japan, and today we've had an incident with gangs as they've been outraging through the whole city of Hong Kong. Hong Kong's in China. I'm bugging. As there's been many cases of deaths related to the gang called Bormei. This gang has been doing very devious activities around the city, and they need to be stopped. A reported death by the Bormei gang is the case of 23-year-old Hinata Tachibana has been killed in a car crash. As Takemitchy would widen his eyes as he would realize that Hinata was his girlfriend in primary school. As Takemitchy would just not know what's going on. He would be so confused, as he would be wondering, why would they kill her? Takemitchy would be in confusion for the whole night, but in the end he would go to bed. The next day he would wake up and head out to his job. Takemitchy would do his work as usual at the library, putting books back in places that they were in before. He would be getting screamed at by his boss. Just a normal day of work for him. As later on that day, Takemitchy would have left the store, seeing as his shift was over. Sorry for the background noise. I had to move the mic away a little bit. And since his shift was over, Takemitchy was ready to go home. Takemitchy thought his life was subtle, and that he probably could live like this, even though he hasn't had the nicest job, the nicest apartment, or the nicest thing, or a girlfriend. But he would still carry on his way to the train station while thinking these things. While thinking these things, he'd remember Hinata Tachibana, his ex-girlfriend. And he would remember that she died in Tokyo. I said Hong Kong before, but I was supposed to say Tokyo. Yeah. But yeah, he'd remember that she died in Tokyo and would be brainstorming on why they would have killed her. But in the end, he would think of nothing and call it hopeless and move on. Now, Takemitchy had reached the station and sat and waited for the train, which was coming in about 5 minutes. Through these 5 minutes, Takemitchy was just thinking about what if his life could be any different. What his life would be like if he was rich, strong and powerful. And suddenly, Takemitchy's then pushed. As the train just arrives, he's pushed off the platform and he falls. And to be specific, this train is a bullet train, as this would instantly kill Takemitchy. But that's what he thought. Takemitchy would wake up with a weird blue screen right in front of his eyes, saying, "Hello, player. I am the system, and you are now a part of this system. You will be given quests and different duties to become strong. Do you accept?" As Takemitchy, remembering what he was thinking about before he was killed, he would accept yes, and would instantly fall back in a sleep coma. His mum would burst into his room with a slipper and start beating him on his head. "Wake up, Takemitchy, wake up. Get up. You've got to go to school." As Takemitchy would be covering his face, not trying to get beaten, but would wake up instantly and say, "School?" As he would go in front of the mirror and look at himself, and he would realize, "I've traveled back in time?" As the system would pop up in his face and it would say, "You have unlocked time traveling abilities. This ability gives you foresight, but you will not be able to leap around in the future until fully unlocked." as Takemitchy would rub his eyes, thinking he's dreaming. Would try to swat away the screen, but it was still there. Now, Takemitchy would go to his mom and ask, "Can you see this, Mom?" As his mom, seeing the whole thing, would be kind of worried and would say, "Is this all an act so you don't have to go to school?" And Takemitchy says, "No, Mom, can you see it? Can you not see the blue screen?" As Takemitchy's mom would say, "See, you've been playing too much of them damn video games." As Takemitchy would say, "Mom, can you not see it?" And she would say, "You know what? You don't have to go to school." And she would go outside the room. As Takemitchy would hop back on his bed and would be questioning, "Can only I see it?" This is really a lot like those video games in the future. As Takemitchy would think, that's actually pretty cool. So I'm kind of like a video game character. And he would realize that since he went back to the past, he has a chance to change everything. As Takemitchy would get the blue screen pop up again, and it would say quest, get stronger, and the time limit would say 5 months. As Takemitchy would be questioning, but the reward says, will guarantee extra coins or money. As Takemitchy would accept the quest to get stronger. Now, the next few days Takemitchy stayed at home as his mom was still worried for him, thinking he was hallucinating, and would take him to the doctor, but the doctor said he was alright. But over the past few days, Takemitchy had been working out, trying to get stronger to fulfill the quest. As the workout routines would be completely delusional, he would be so confused on why it was so hard. But he would still try to persevere. Right now, Takemitchy would be doing a 10-minute plank, but was complaining to the system that he can barely hold it for 2 minutes. But it said quest failure, 1 mile run. So Takemitchy held it for as long as he could, but in the end still had to go on that 1 mile run. Takemitchy would come back home and his mom would greet him and say, "So, why did you choose to start working out?" As Takemitchy would explain that, "Well, I guess I wanted to," as he would continue to work out and his mom would let him be. The next day, Takemitchy would have had to go to school. And he would meet up with his friends after telling them on his flip phone that he's coming to school today. As they would go to school for a few hours, doing normal classwork, when Akashi comes in and tells Takemitchy, "Hey, Takemitchy, let's get going." Takemitchy heads out the class as the teacher tries to stop him, and after Takemitchy leaves, he calls him a delinquent. As Hinata would be staring at Takemitchy, wondering why he always does this. But Takemitchy would leave with his friends and head out to the park. As they would go and buy a few drinks and take a stroll. As they would be walking in the park when they see Takemitchy's cousin. As to them, Takemitchy's cousin would be known as a leader of a great gang. As he would be boasting to them that he was one of the greatest gang leaders around. As they would be believing him, pretty gullible if you ask me. As they'd be believing Takemitchy's cousin, thinking he really is a leader of a gang. As suddenly, 3 delinquents come up behind Takemitchy's cousin, smoking weed, and they all had few stacks of money in their pockets from robbing children. Well, the younger years. As they would see these few boys, I'd be questioning what they're doing here. As they would go up to Takemitchy's cousin and say, "Oi, we told you to get our colas. What are you doing here with these idiots?" As the leader would then realize, oh, these are the bastards that wanted to fight our second years, our juniors. Well, they're on a school trip right now, so I'm afraid you're gonna have to verse us, the third years. As Takemitchy would be confused. What? As he would go to Kashi and he would ask, "We wanted to fight their second years?" As Akashi would say, "Yeah, you don't remember?" As Takemitchy would say, "No, I don't remember that at all." As Akashi would say, "What?" But that's besides the point. We'll get to that later. We need to beat up these third years. They would get ready to beat up the third years. And of course this doesn't end well. Takemitchy would jump up. Well, not Takemitchy. Akashi would jump up and try to punch the third year. As the delinquent behind him would rush out and punch Akashi in his stomach. And this would send him going back a bit and he would fall into the ground. As, he jumped up. As Akashi would be on the ground in pain, seeing as he just got punched in his rib. As it wouldn't be broken, it would just be hurting. As then the third year assault would begin. They attack all of Takemitchy's friends, giving them no leeway, beating them up mercilessly, doing WWE moves, kicking them, stomping on them. As Takemitchy would be the last victim. As they would go up to Takemitchy and they would punch him to the ground and beat and just stomp on him afterwards, leaving him with a bloody nose, a swollen face, and he would have twisted his ankle. As they would leave with Takemitchi's cousin, as he would have gotten the drinks, and they would have left. Now, a few minutes later, to be precisely 30 minutes later, as they've been knocked out, not 30 minutes, not 15 minutes later, as they've been knocked out, they all wake up and they're just downhearted. They got completely demolished by third years, and they're wondering why they're so weak. As they would all get up and go their separate ways, as Takemitchy would take a stroll, just getting angry at how weak he is. As he would walk to the park, and he would see a few kids bullying another kid,